We started with that because that's the most current development in the process that we have as at now. And as you saw from what we found on the tweets and other mechanisms that we're using here, people are talking about that. Yeah. So we can now go into, appropriately, the discussion of the umpire. This is an example of where the umpire has to rely on others to ensure its safety. Yesterday, it was one of the questions we asked. Let me start with you, Dr. Ishola. Up till now, INEC has control over certain things because they're within its purview, printing of materials, ballot boxes, and so on. But when it comes to security, it has to rely on others who are not necessarily under its control, but which, according to the law, when it comes to elections, they are supposed to be under INEC's direction. Are we seeing a repeat of situations where they are walking parallel lines here, given what we see?
Well, it does really look like that, you know, especially on the surface. And to me, it is so fundamental that not only should we address it now, but we must guide against it very seriously in the next election. If we listen to the Director of Voters Education, he made a very technical statement. And that statement is, they will not succumb to these antics. He agreed that there were antics somewhere. Now, the fundamental questions that arise here are, one, who are the authors of these antics? Are they sponsored within INEC? Or they are sponsored by outsiders? On the logic of Tino Ubala Wokolego Keodo, which means if you don't have enemies within, it's difficult for the outside enemy to penetrate you. INEC becomes the first suspect. I'm not accusing, I am analyzing.
You're just using the logic.
So, the logic is that if he agrees that there are antics, then the authors of these antics are most likely within, or they are from outside, they have been aided within, which means the institution that is the umpire of this election itself, at this point, needs to be thoroughly put under investigation and observation and attention by the Nigerian people. If we do that, we then get back to the place. You see, the logic of election, which is an institution in democracy, is that people within the political system have been able to get to a level where they can sit down and make informed decisions, out of which nobody should be able to intimidate their choices. And that is why we are saying, once the state appears to be culpable in manipulating the institutions of the election, many problems will be created. Many suspicions will fly all around the world, and the credibility of the election will be in doubt.
Mr. Kuyo, that's what I'm going to put to you, that is it a case of, you know, this is a question I asked a panel last week, and I didn't really get a response I was satisfied with. Is it a thing of legislation? Nobody has been caught, so nobody is punished. So they don't see anybody who has committed this kind of offense actually nabbed for it and then punished by law. And so that's why it continues. So do we need, again, I will put the question, special courts, special tribunals, or what, I don't know what it is you think we need to stop this kind of thing from happening?
It's a failure of law enforcement. You can't be creating special courts, special bodies at the drop of the hat. The offense that has been committed, because it's an offense, in my own view, and how did I reach that conclusion? Within a space of 2-3 weeks, we had these 3 incidents. Certainly, it can be a coincidence. And Director of Voters Education alluded to it when he said that those who are engaged in these antics will not be able to intimidate INEC into submission or making INEC not to discharge its responsibility to the Nigerian people, and that certainly election will not be cancelled in those areas. And let me say this, let me dilate here a little. And I'm saying that what we are seeing is an aggravation of the usual tactics of election disruption in the past. In the past, opponents will sponsor mayhem in the strongholds of their rivals, and then during actual electioneering, disrupt voting in that area, in that stronghold, and that election will be cancelled there. What we are witnessing now is a possible action by political.
It's serious business.
It's serious. When you're talking about 4,000, card readers, it's a lot.
Yes.
Those 4,000 card readers would be sufficient almost for the entire state. Now, I don't know the number.
He's mentioned 4 local governments.
Sir, because it's like, at best, two card readers per a polling unit. So those 4,000 mean a lot to the election process.
But he has said that they will get others from other places to suffice.
That's even alarming. Because what he's saying now is that he used the word, we'll mop up others from other places.
At the expense of others.
So the big question now is, do we know what may happen in those other places, given this pattern between now and the election? So my view, therefore,
you will share that view on the other side of the break. I'm going to put you on pause because we have to go on a break briefly, and then we will let our Abuja panel also weigh in on the issues of the umpire, what has happened, and how to prevent it before Saturday, hopefully. So stay with us.